Hey guys, just got back from watching Ballerina and I have to share this with you because this movie is absolutely insane. So when I first heard the title Ballerina, I was like, oh great, another movie trying to force elegance and violence together. But after watching it, dude, Ana de Armas completely blew my mind. This woman was already a badass in No Time to Die, but in this film, she literally turned ballet into a killing art form. Picture this. Someone doing swan lake moves while snapping necks. That's how beautiful and violent this gets. Alright, let me tell you about our main character, Eve's backstory. Honestly, I've seen tons of revenge movies, but this opening actually made me feel bad for her. Little Eve was just a normal kid, and then bam, both parents dead in one night. But here's the kicker. Her dad was from one assassin organization, her mom was from another. It's like the assassin version of Romeo and Juliet, and the kid pays the price for their love story. I was sitting there thinking, this girl's genetics must be insane. Dad's a killer, mom's a killer. This kid was basically destined to become a super assassin. And you know what's the most messed up part? After she gets sent to Rasca Roma, she's supposedly learning ballet, but she's actually getting assassin training. Imagine, while other little girls are learning piano and painting, she's learning how to kill people with ballet moves. That contrast is just mind-blowing. The next 12 years of training, I gotta say, this setup is genius. Have you ever thought about why they use ballet to train assassins? It hit me halfway through. Ballet dancers have incredible body control, balance, and flexibility. Isn't that exactly what a top-tier assassin needs? Plus, every ballet move requires millimeter precision. That kind of accuracy applied to killing is literally art. Then the best surprise, Keanu Reeves shows up. John Wick sees young Eve and tells her, give up this path, it won't end well. I was like, John, dude, you're basically prophesying here. This is the same guy who killed half of New York over a dog, and now he's telling someone else to give up revenge? But honestly, John's appearance made the whole John Wick universe connection feel so much stronger. And I noticed this interesting contrast. John's revenge was driven by love, Eve's is driven by hate. These are completely different motivations, and they'll lead to totally different outcomes. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Eve's first mission after graduation is protecting some Korean heiress. I gotta call this out. This heiress completely disappears later. Obviously, a lot of her scenes got cut. But what really got me thinking was that Eve gets attacked by cult members exactly 2 months after her mission. The timing is way too convenient, right? I suspect the cult knew her identity all along and deliberately waited until she became a full assassin before making their move. Think about it. If the cult really wanted to kill her, they had countless opportunities during those 12 years of training. Why wait until now? I think there's a conspiracy here. Maybe the cult wanted a fully trained Eve, not just some regular kid. And when Eve discovers the attacker is from the cult, her facial expression change is incredible. Ana de Armas' acting totally explodes here. You can see the shock, anger, and this finally found you satisfaction in her eyes. This is what I love about this movie. It's not just mindless action. Every emotional beat has layers. Next, Eve goes to the Prague Continental to find her target. And this part made me love and hate it at the same time. Love it because Prague Continental's design is absolutely gorgeous. That classic European style mixed with the mysterious assassin world vibes, visual perfection. Hate it because the Continental's rules got completely destroyed here. Remember how in the John Wick series, the Continental was absolute neutral ground. Fighting in the hotel meant death. But here, cult members straight up start a war inside the hotel. I was like, where's the manager? Where are the rules? Is this even the Continental I know? That said, the hotel fight scene is absolutely spectacular. Eve fighting in those narrow hallways and rooms, every move like she's dancing. Especially that shot where she uses ballet spins to dodge bullets. I watched it at least 3 times. There's another detail I loved. Pine's character. He's not your typical villain, but a father trying to protect his daughter. This kind of character setup makes the whole story more human, not just black and white. But what surprised me most was when little Ella got kidnapped. I actually felt nervous. That means the movie successfully made me care about these characters. Then, we get to what I think is the craziest setup in the whole movie, Hallstatt. When Eve arrives at this picturesque Austrian town, I'm thinking, wow, this place is beautiful, like a fairy tale. Next second, the coffee shop lady pulls out a knife, the janitor whips out a gun, and even the kids know Kung Fu. My expression was probably the same as Eve's. What the hell? This setup is really creative, but also terrifying. Imagine thinking you're on vacation, then discovering everyone in town wants to kill you. That's scarier than horror movies. And I noticed this interesting contrast. The most beautiful and peaceful looking place is actually the most dangerous. Isn't this a satire of so many things in real life? Eve's fight scenes in the town are amazing, especially navigating through those narrow streets and old buildings. But honestly, one person against an entire town, those odds are way too low. Her getting captured was inevitable, but this also sets up the plot twist perfectly. Alright, here's the most shocking part of the entire movie. Lena is actually Eve's biological sister. I gotta admit, I completely didn't see this twist coming. Looking back now, there were some hints, like Lena's special attention to Eve, but when the truth was revealed, I was still blown away. There's a really deep theme here. Same blood, different choices. Lena chose to obey the cult and became a loyal assassin. Eve chose to rebel and pursue her own revenge. This contrast is fascinating. And Lena's final sacrifice to protect Eve is genuinely moving. I was thinking, if they had grown up together, what would it have been like? Maybe there wouldn't have been so much tragedy. But what I love most is Eve's reaction. She doesn't give up revenge just because she discovers Lena is her sister, and she doesn't break down because of Lena's death. She quickly adjusts her emotions and continues her mission. That resilience is incredible. This also made me think about question, is revenge really worth it? Losing your sister for revenge, isn't that price too high? Then John Wick shows up again, this time to kill Eve. But this part really showed me John's gentle side. Think about it. When has John Wick ever shown mercy? This guy killed half of New York over a dog, but facing Eve, he actually holds back multiple times. I think John sees himself in Eve. Both living for revenge, both forced onto this path of no return. So he gives Eve a chance. Complete your revenge before midnight, or he'll have to finish the job. This setup is brilliant. It's not simple good guy versus bad guy, but understanding versus duty conflict. John understands Eve, but he also has his own responsibilities. During the final battle, John provides support from a distance, and that teamwork is genuinely touching, two top assassins working together, like a deadly dance. And I noticed Eve's way of killing the Chancellor is very symbolic. She doesn't use a gun, but ends her enemy's life in the most primitive way. This represents that her revenge isn't just a mission, but personal catharsis. The ending is really interesting. Eve completes her revenge, but she loses everything. Her organization, protection, even safety. I especially love the theater scene. Eve watching the ballet performance on stage. That dancer might be what she could have been if she hadn't chosen the path of revenge. That contrast is brutal. And when she learns about the bounty on her head, her reaction is so calm. No fear, no regret, just quietly leaving the theater. That composure is badass. This made me think about a question. Does revenge really bring satisfaction? Eve killed her enemy, but she doesn't look happy. Instead, there's this sense of emptiness. I think this movie is trying to tell us that revenge might make you lose more than you gain. Eve got her revenge satisfaction, but lost her sister, her organization, and any possibility of a normal life. Overall, Ballerina really exceeded my expectations. First, Ana de Armas' performance is incredible. She's not just a pretty face who can fight, but a flesh and blood character. Second, the action choreography is genuinely creative. The combination of ballet and violence isn't forced. It actually works harmoniously. Most importantly, this movie has depth. It's not just a mindless action flick, but explores deep themes like revenge, family, and choice. If you like the John Wick series, if you want to see a smart action movie, this film is absolutely worth watching. But remember, after watching it, you might end up like me, thinking a lot about the topic of revenge. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Good movies should make you think. Alright, that's my share for today. If you guys watch this movie, definitely let me know your thoughts.